Hello viewers, Flying Flapper here and welcome to more Gran Turismo Sport. Now, huge apologies for the lack of content I've released in the last month or so. The reason for this is because of the problems with the game in terms of its penalty system. Those of you that don't know about this penalty system, well, you know, basically at the moment it is very broken. It's dishing out penalties to the wrong people at times, or if there is a bit of contact, which does happen in races, sometimes they're way too harsh. You know, I've had so many close battles with people where maybe I got a little tap from behind, but it's not really affected me. They've not overtook me or anything like that, and then they'll get like a 10-second penalty out of it, or vice versa. These are things that really do need to be addressed, and then it's very inconsistent as well. There are times where people have deliberately shunted me off the racetrack and they've not got a penalty for it. So this is something that really needs to be addressed, otherwise I just can't see anyone wanting to play this game anymore. But throughout the time that I haven't uploaded anything, I did have one really good race which I'm going to show you in this video, and that was the FIA Nations Cup Test Season 23 in the Group 2 cars, or the Super GT cars, and we picked the Lexus, as you can see in front of you. Now, this was around a Dragon Trail, 14 laps, with the normal fuel and tyre wear turned on. I think it was like ×5 and ×6, and it was an absolute fantastic race. Now, we qualified it in 8th, but there was actually 6 elite drivers, or 6 SS drivers, or even A+ as it's now called after update 1.18. And so, getting out of 8th was going to be a very difficult task. However, there were a few surprises thrown into the mix. But yeah, there was just some really good, tight, clean racing. There was a few racing incidents, and obviously there was a few dodgy penalty decisions involved as well. Now, unfortunately guys, when I was clearing out my hard drive, I did accidentally delete this footage, so I am having to rely on the replay system, but it's not going to show you all the information like it would on the main footage. So I would have liked to have presented it better, but it is what it is, unfortunately. But I hope you do enjoy, guys, and without further ado, let's get straight into the race. Right, so we qualified in 8th position with a 1:30.4. The pole position time was a 1:28.8, which was Norax, the Austrian, that's in first place now. So a bit of a pace difference, but if we can be consistent, who knows what's going to happen. So we ride on board with the Austrian now as we go into the first chicane. He hits that second curb hard, and he loses control into the barrier, and he falls down to about 14th position, but do watch out for him because he was quick. So riding on board with the Belgian just in front of me, gets up the inside of the German in the Red Bull car to take 5th place. And we're just behind the Red Bull car now as we go into the S's. So we're already up into 7th position. And getting a lot of the slipstream in front of the car, hitting the rev limiter, going into the sharp hairpin on the right hand side. And yeah, it's very, very tight between all the cars. Riding aboard with the 5th place driver, coming out the bus stop exit, he goes wide and he scrapes the wall, which is going to lose him a lot of time and speed, and we go round the outside of him to move up into 6th place and coming up to the Red Bull driver as well, but we can't beat him on the final corner of the lap. However, we are on the straight, it's a long straight, and we have got the slipstream of the Red Bull car, so we are looking to pass him before we get to the first chicane, which we do. We make that stick, nice clean overtake, and then going into the chicane we get on the brakes well, and that move was successful. So up to 5th place, looking to sort of catch up with the pack in front. Podium is looking like a possibility right now, but of course it'll be interesting to see how everyone's fuel strategy is as we ride on board with the first place driver. He spins out, I think he gets on the curb, which compromises his speed down the hill, and it's an easy pass for the blue car, the fellow Frenchman, to become the new leader. So as we go round the sharp hairpin, bit of kick over steer there, but we managed to save it, going into the chicane. Now a lot of people will do what I do, where you slightly back off as you get the right angle going into the corner, but you can actually get it right, you can actually go in full throttle, but like I say, it's a huge risk to actually undertake that and get it right. So as we come to the end of lap 2, we are in 5th place. There's roughly about a 2-second gap between myself and Super Miha, the German in front. The German just behind me, trying to use my slipstream, but didn't have enough time to make the pass, so he does back off slightly. But meanwhile, we are starting to catch up with the 2 cars in front. They're involved in their own little battle. And as we hit the brow of the hill, down the hill into the S's, we get a better line than the German in front, who goes a little bit wide. And so we're closing that gap all the time, using all that slipstream. And we have to go down the inside to try and make that move stick. As we go around, of course, try and give him as much space on the exit. Can't make it stick. And as we ride on board with 2nd place, goes into the bus stop chicane and crashes straight into the barrier. Gets it all completely wrong. So let's have a look at the replay and see exactly where he went wrong. But so we're riding just behind him. Everything looks okay right now, but he doesn't come off the gas at all. Clips the curb, which unsettles the car, and he goes straight into the barrier. And he's lost out on a lot of positions there. And as we look behind, we see all the carnage. His 13th place goes into the barrier, gets hit from behind. He spins, another car spins. It's absolute mess. So let's ride on board with, at the time, 7th place. See how he went wrong as he comes out the 2nd part of the bus stop chicane. I think he tries to get out of the way of the car who was ghosting, but unfortunately he loses control of the car and spins round and everything, and he loses out on a lot of positions as well. So we ride back on board with ourselves at the start of lap 4. You've noticed that we're right on the tail of the German car in front now, who's not too far from the Spanish driver in the Honda NSX. And as we come up to the right-hander, like I say, we are hot on the heels of him. All the time we are short shifting because we are trying to save some fuel. But you can see how close it is between the 4 of us. Going through the S's, I mean, I'm trying to put the pressure on the German in the Lexus in front, but then the Red Bull car just behind is literally on my tail as well. So we're having to take a defensive line as we go into this sharp hairpin, and we try and cover the inside line. He goes up the inside to perform the switchback, and he makes it stick as we have to let him through, and up into 4th place he goes, and us dropping down to 5th. But that German driver is on the charge right now, because he is right on the heels of Super Miha as well as we exit the final corner of the lap. And yeah, they are side by side now. He tucks back in to get a little bit more slipstream, but he is favourite to pass him round the outside and take the inside line for the chicane and move up into 3rd place. So good driving there, nice clean manoeuvre. And like I say, we are in 5th place, but we're not too far behind. We're about a second behind now. But to be honest, like from where we started in 8th position, at this time I did feel like 5th was a good position to be in, and as long as we sort of stayed within the cars in front and able to sort of save a bit of fuel by fuel saving and toning down the fuel mix a little bit, you know, this could benefit us later on in the race. So just going down the hill now, braking hard into the sharp hairpin, keeping it in 3rd gear, keeping the revs low as we roll on board with Black Siam in the Honda NSX in 2nd place. Goes a bit slow through the chicane, which enables the German to go up the inside and not compromise his driving line as he goes into the final corner. So he grabs 2nd position from Black Siam, but we're not done here. The German just behind him as well, and he's got to make the pass on the Spanish driver and move up into 3rd place. So the Spanish driver moving down 2 positions to 4th place. So we roll on the race a little bit further to the end of lap 7. We're about 2 or 3 seconds off of the pack in front as we go into pit, and we're at the halfway stage. And it'd be interesting to know how much fuel they put in, whether they put in literally a full tank or they save a little bit. Now, I wasn't aware that when I came into the pits, I had it on fuel mixture 3, and I didn't realise that it calculates the fuel if you were to leave it on fuel mix 3. So as I come out and pull it into the richest fuel mix, I realised that actually we're not going to have enough fuel to last a whole race, so we do need to do some fuel saving. However, we roll on a lap later and we've got that gap down to, well, as you can see, less than a second, and we're right in the pack. So four places battling for 2 podium slots right now. So as we go down into the S's, like I say, very tight here. All it takes is one mistake and then positions are mine. So as we go up the hill, we've got the slipstream of the Spanish driver in the Honda NSX. We look to go onto the inside of him, but we do get on the brakes a little bit earlier, anticipating that he might take the inside line there. So we sit behind, but we're still fuel saving by short shifting a fair bit. And no margin for error as we went through the bus stop there. And as we come up to the final corner, got a good chance to use this slipstream to get past them cars. Although saying that, obviously there is a further 3 cars in front, so they have also got the slipstream to the car in front. But as we roll on board with the Red Bull car, as we come up to the first chicane, he goes a little bit wide, it unstables the car, and he ends up going into the barrier, and that's, you got to say, that's probably race over. So another one bites the dust, and we are down to 3 drivers. So a bit of contact between 3rd place and 2nd place, but nothing major. And as we go through the S's, you can see how tight it is. Barely a second covering 3 positions. But yeah, I'm very excited at this predicament because podium is a real possibility here. But as we come to the hairpin, Black CME looks to go up the inside, that quick interchange. A bit of contact again, and he slows down, presumably for a penalty. So let's have a look at the replay to see these both bits of contact. So there is a little shunt there, but again, I wouldn't say it really affected the German driver in front. And then onto the second incident, as you can see, Black CME goes up the inside. There's a slight scraping of the car on the inside, but again, nothing major. But look at the time in the middle. I counted there was 20 seconds that he slowed down for. So basically 10 seconds per incident, which is really harsh. And this is what I was saying at the top of the video, is it really needs to be addressed, because although he might have handed me a podium, you know, I'd rather have had a clean race, because it was a really enjoyable race up until that point. So as we go round the final corner of lap 10, we are right on the tail of Super Mihar. Now again, whether or not he's fuel saving at this point, I don't really know, but we go around the outside of him anyway, and coming up to the first chicane, we've got the inside line, and we take it very cleanly and move up into second position. So meanwhile, just behind, we have got the German Red Bull car, and we've got Norex as well. Where's he come from? He's gone up the inside into 4th place. Goes a little bit wide on the exit though, so it does give the chance for the Red Bull car to come fighting back again. But he has got the wrong line going into the S's, and inevitably goes wide and loses control of the car and into the sand trap. And yeah, I think his podium chances have diminished completely there. So, but I did say to watch out for Norex, because I mean he was super quick, probably the fastest man on the track. He was the pole sitter at the start of the race as well, and to go from 14th up to 4th, what he is now, is absolutely phenomenal. So currently at the moment we ride on board with ourselves. We are in second position. We are trying to fuel save all the time though, which obviously does give the opportunity for the people behind to catch up. But yeah, it was very hit and miss of what like how much fuel we had left. So we was constantly interchanging between sort of fuel mix 2 and 3 and short shifting at the same time. We have just got our fastest lap of the race, which equaled my qualifying lap time. Compared to the SS drivers, probably quite slow though. But like I said at the top of the video, it's just important to stay as consistent as possible and stay out of trouble really. So as we go through the S's, take that pretty nicely. But like I say, we are under pressure from the German just behind, and Norex not being too far behind him as well. So as we come up to the sharp hairpin just before the bus stop chicane, nice and smooth around there. It's very important to be smooth around there, because you can lose the rear end if you do smash the gas down. So going through the all-important chicane there, we take that quite nicely. But the two guys behind, not too far behind at all, as you can see now. And as we go into the final corner, we get on the gas a little bit too early, which sent us out wide, compromising our speed for the straight and giving a brilliant chance for not only Super Mihar but Norex to overtake before the end of the straight. Now Norex, having the outside line and the inside line for the chicane, then takes the German's position as well and moves up to second position, so taking 2 spaces in one manoeuvre basically. So excellent driving from Norex, and like I say, he is a driver that needs to be respected. At this point though guys, obviously we are down to 4th. Another thing I have to mention is that I actually did have a 1 second penalty, which was given to me by someone going into the back of me, even if it was the smallest of taps on the first lap. But yeah, we still had to waive off that penalty. So, and with me not knowing if I had enough fuel, I had to do a lot of fuel conservation as well. So I was almost resigned into getting 4th place. But I was still happy, because we started in 8th, didn't expect to even be embroiled in this battle, and so I would have taken 4th place before the start of the race anyway. So as we get towards the end of lap 13, we approach the final corner. That gap is extending. We are about 2 seconds behind third position, And Norax, well, he's well in the distance now, so really pushing, probably trying to catch up with first, but there is a massive gap between himself and the French guy in first, where he's been pretty much leading since, what, lap 2, isn't it? So, so whilst we've been battling away, he's just had a clean run, and he was a quick driver anyway, so so pretty much no chance of catching him up unless he does make any mistakes. But so as we go up and then down the hill into the S's, yeah, there is probably just over 2 seconds now between me and the German. But I'm able to push a little bit more now because although we're in the red in terms of the fuel, as you can see in the bottom left hand corner, I felt like we probably just about had enough fuel. So as we go around the sharp hairpin, German goes a little bit wide, gets on the power a bit early and smashes into the barrier, and just when I thought podium wasn't possible, there it goes. We get a podium out of all this. So as first place has already crossed the line, we ride on board with Norax, and I've got to say, he is my driver of the race. You know, not only did he qualify pole, but he also set the fastest lap time, which was 1:28.878. So he fully deserves that accolade as we approach the start-finish line to finish in third position, and again, very satisfied with that. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have, please do smack that like button, subscribe for more content if you're new to the channel, share with your friends, and thank you for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.